Hello and welcome back to the Four Pros podcast, where we are cultivating culture in the world of basketball. I'm your host, Thomas Gibson, and again, I'm here to deliver my message and my testimony on what's been going on in my professional career over the last 9 years. It's been definitely been a journey, a lot of ups and downs, but that's life, and so I'm here to share those things with you, and I hope you get something out of it. Probably going to be here for a little while, so hope you're comfortable. We'll go ahead and jump right into it, man. I'll start that summer going into my rookie year. We had just lost to TCU. We didn't do March Madness or anything. I ended up graduating in early, so I had a lot of time on my hands. So I went down to Houston. I got connected with the agent through my father. His name was Matt. I forgot his last name, but we were in Houston, and I worked out with John Lucas. You pros out there, y'all know how Lucas is. He was very strict. Get on you hard. You know what I'm saying? You're working out about 3-4 times a day. In the mornings, we would wake up. I think I would wake up at like 6:45. The transportation would pick us up at like around 7:15. We had to eat breakfast, before we get there. Obviously, we had one workout. That first workout was like 7:38. We had weights, and then like 8:45, 9 a.m. We would go to the gym. We would have like 1-on-1, 2-on-2. 3-on-3, full court, by the way. You picking up full court. Shoot, that was a crazy time. But anyways, so that's 2 workouts before 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then I think at 1 p.m. in the heat of Houston, in the middle of the summer, crazy hot. We're talking about 105 degree weather. Humid. Well, we're running on the track, probably doing at least 6 to 10 laps, however you want to break it down, whether it's 2 laps, whether we're pacing, whether we're sprinting, they'll mix it up a little bit. Sometimes I would do some extra things with Jared Sullinger, just to stay on top of it. And then after that, that's about 3 workouts right there, maybe 4, depending if I do that extra workout with Sully or not. Shout out to Sully, really helped me a lot. Kicked my butt for like the first 2 weeks. Really, really humbled me. That's always a lesson to learn. But yeah, and then that 4th workout is probably like 3-4 p.m., like around Houston traffic time. So those of you that stay in Houston, you know how that traffic is around that time. And man, we probably wouldn't get home to around like 6 o'clock, 7. And so we got to do it all over again. Monday through Saturday. Monday through Saturday, only get Sundays off. So yeah, that was a good time. Ended up signing late. Ended up signing to go to Finland. Unfortunately, I had to switch agents around that time. That was my first time I switched agents. I've had my fair share of hiring and firing, which is unfortunate. It's not cool, but that's just a part of the process of being out here. But we'll get into that later. Yeah, so I finally get to Finland, man, and I didn't necessarily know what to expect, right? Like, I've been out of the country before. I've been to Lithuania my junior year in college. I've been to Brazil, all in college, which is a blessing, But, this is the first time I'm going to be, by myself for, 9-10 months. It's quite an experience, traveling through the airport, getting there, like seeing Finnish language, that was very, very different. And then when I got into the transportation vehicle, it was a van, it was solid, but going around like seeing the mall and the like the signs of the mall, like everything's like outside, like it's just super weird. It was just a totally weird vibe. But Finland was beautiful. It got dark in the winter, which was a crazy time. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I ended up getting there and trying to make a home. It was a solid apartment. I think about 2 bedrooms, but I had a guest. Not a guest. I had a roommate. His name was David Gonzalez. Shout out to David. I still talk to him a little bit every now and then. Yeah, we were real cool. I've done the whole roommate thing just out of college before, so it's not. I'm not too. I wasn't too like unfamiliar with it. I mean, that was a. Finland was a little bit, different just because of the style of basketball. I had to learn, how to set better angles for pick and rolls. We do a lot of inside screens, screens going towards the baseline instead of going towards the middle, which was weird because a lot of people in college don't set screens going towards baselines. But trying to be able to get used to, the coaching, which was special because he was a player coach, which I really appreciated. Yuri, his name is Yuri. He's been there for a while, and he's a great coach. I still talk to him to this day too. Shout out to Yuri, man. One day maybe I can come back and play for you again. But yeah, it was a quite an experience. They gave us food. They put that in the contract. We have food for lunch. So after practices, we would go pick up the food, and sometimes they'll have like curry, chicken curry, rice. They'll have salmon. Sorry, that's my water again. They'll have a good variety of things. It was real solid. You just throw some salt and pepper on it. I wish I had some photos for they see eat, but it would be real good. It would be real good. I mean, as far as how the whole season went, I mean, it's a bunch of ups and downs, but we ended up winning it. We ended up winning the championship, which was good. But before even winning the championship, man, like, when we talk about the ups and downs, being a professional basketball player, like, when you overseas, like the first couple months, like it's cool. You trying to getting used to the, different food, different culture, kind of like their lifestyle, but not making it your lifestyle all the way. Just accepting it, embracing it. That's one thing that I learned. Being overseas, to have a long career, you got to embrace their culture for sure. But it's just you. The ups and downs, like you kind of go into like this rookie wall, like after like those first couple months, because everything wears off. Like you soon a while, the restaurants, you know what you're gonna get. You could kind of guess what's coming up next at the lunch spot. This was in Finland. This is like my whole experience with the rookie wall. I kind of knew things were coming, and so then on top of that, you start missing things back at home. You miss those meals at home that you would eat. You miss those fast food restaurants. They had McDonald's in Finland, which I felt was a lot healthier. Obviously, I don't eat or condone eating McDonald's anymore at all. But at that time, the McDonald's in Finland is a lot more fresher. And honestly, in other places overseas too, it's just a lot more fresher than America. But we're not going to get into that reason why. That's a whole different podcast story for itself. But Yeah, it was. I mean, you get used to those. You get used to those things after a while, and then, like I said, you miss things, and then now, you know, you like, dang, like I miss home. Like, I wonder what home is like. Like, I wonder what my people back home doing. The time difference is a little bit, it's a little bit crazy. For that first year, being a rookie, I think I was 8 or 9 hours ahead, and or behind. I don't know. But I mean, it was depressing. Just because I hit that. Usually the wall that people will hit like overseas is around like November, December-ish, January, because that's when like it's the thick of the season, and then like like you know February, March, April, that's like going downhill, going into the summer. But that 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 wall hit around the same time. The weather was a little bit, not a little, but the weather was crazy in Finland because it gets super super dark in Finland. There was times when I'm waking up at like 9 a.m. Sometimes on off days wake up at like 9 a.m. and it's dark outside, like no sunlight, like as black as his t-shirt. It's night, and then you'll do your morning practice or you'll go get your lunch, and about 10:30, well, not 10:30, by like 11, 12, around that time it's time for me to nap. The sun was high as in the sky, like super super bright. It was crazy. And then which was messing my mind up because like now I'm going to sleep when the sun is up and I'm tired. It was just I was already in a cycle, and so I'm taking a nap when the sun is up, and then when I wake up like around 2:30, 3 p.m., the sun is going down. The sun is down by like 4:35. It's pitch dark, like it's dark. It's nighttime. It's their nighttime at like 4:35 p.m. So, you know, excuse me, that wall hit around the same time that weather got a little bit depressed, and so when it got dark, and so I got depressed, man. Like I was drinking a little bit, which everybody has their things, but that was kind of like my outlet, and somehow I survived it, man. I had great teammates. I had a great roommate. He didn't let me fall off the deep end like too much. He was going through his things too. Just because it was just natural. It was a state that we were in. It was cold, snow everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even mention the snow. It was 6 inches of snow sometimes. I'm wearing my KDs out. Like I didn't have no boots. I didn't. I'm wearing flip flops sometimes, man. Like I didn't care, and so now obviously I'm not wearing flip flops in 6 inches of snow. Like let's not be silly. But there were those moments where it's cold out, but I'm wearing flip flops. But yeah, that was a depressing time. But soon as February hits, the sun everything gets back to normal, and then it kind of reverses. Now I never been there in the summer because they said in the summer, it's always light. The sun is always up, So, but that spring, man, it's beautiful in Finland. It's super super beautiful. I used to drive to Helsinki a lot, and so that drive back and forth, it was just lush green trees, great scenery. The sun is out. It was very very green. I can picture it, man. It's beautiful beautiful drive, man. It's only about like an hour and a half from Helsinki to Kouvola, maybe an hour, I'm not sure. But they gave me a car. They let us rent a car out, not us pay for it, but they provided a car. And me and David would do that sometimes. We would have to share, obviously. Maybe one weekend he would have it, but he didn't really do too much. I was the one really going out. He's a little bit older than me, so he was a lot more settled and kicked back. And yeah, I was a one still like on my college flow, which was silly, Um, but it was a great time. Like I said, we ended up winning. I ended up winning my first year, which was awesome. Wonderful, wonderful time. Experiencing a championship overseas, man. To celebrate, we rented out this building, and we had like a party. It had like a sauna party. That's one thing that they do in Finland. They have sauna parties. You know, they be naked sometimes. That's their culture. Obviously, you can't really judge them on that. That's their thing. Sometimes some people are, some people aren't. Whatever. But um, it's just wild. But you got to get used to it. It's just something that you just got to get used to. So, yeah, the party was cool. You got to do things, to build chemistry throughout the whole year, obviously. But, winning the championship and then partying with your guys afterwards for like the whole week was pretty fun. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do they did like the carnival thing, like what the NBA players, the NBA champions be doing, the ceremonies, the parade. I didn't get to do the parade or anything, because I ended up getting a job to go to Mexico, right away, and yeah, ended up going straight there. I think maybe I had a couple days in Dallas. I'm not sure, but yeah, when I got to Mexico, that was a totally different thing too, just because I'm going from somewhere that was super, super cold, winter, snow, um, depression, you know, but, and then going to Mexico, it's like super, super hot. It's the summertime. We're talking about Ciudad Obregón. Look up how hot is it, the average heat temperature in Ciudad Obregón in the summer times, around May, June, July, and a little bit of August, and you'll see it's like 110, so that was a whole different experience itself too, because as soon as I got there, boom, as soon as I landed, a van picks me up, we go straight to practice. I didn't even get to the hotel first. Practice because I had a game the next day. Ended up playing or whatever the next day, but come to find out, we don't get no car. You don't get no car in Mexico, especially in Ciudad Obregón. They not giving no transportation out. I don't think there wasn't Uber at that time, so I had to walk to practice. Now we're talking about, from my apartment to the gym's probably about 6 blocks in 110 degree weather, getting prepared for practice with no AC in that gym. Yeah. People, if you know about that Obregón gym, it get hot there in the summer, and that floor is not a basketball floor, but whatever, you playing in some wild conditions, man. Like, I was playing in some crazy conditions in Mexico. Now, this is, when I say Cibacopa, this is like in Mexico, there's like 3 different leagues. There's the LMBP, where I'm currently in now, which is the top league. And then there's the Cibacopa, which is the second league, which is usually around the summertime. And then there's the state league, the Chihuahua State League. Right now, the LMBP Dorados Chihuahua team that I'm on right now, they have a state league team, and so that's how that connects, And so, well, anyways, with the Cibacopa, I had solid, expectations going into it, because I just won a championship, but none of this deteriorated, like none of the outside circumstances, like, not having a car, being hot, or the weather, or the gym conditions or anything, like, deteriorated like anything. It didn't mess me up or anything. I still had to play, and I did very well. I averaged a double-double. I think I averaged like 12 and 10 in 8 games. I got there late. The team just wanted us to get them in the playoffs, and unfortunately, we ran out of gas. That first round, we lost 3-0, or 4-0, because we got tired. We had won like 8-9 games in a row just to get them to the playoffs. Got a little healthy bonus, and it was cool. Like I said, we ran out of gas, but that Mexico experience was different for itself. The Supercopa was cool, but we're playing like 4 games a week, man. It's super, super tough. Would I go back? I don't think I would, man. People that play in the Supercopa, it's more so kind of people that are just starting their careers. It's a very good league. It's respectable. FIBA oriented, so it's pretty solid. Going into that whole stint, which lasted for about, I think it was about a month. Like I said, we ended up losing in the first round, and then I ended up going home. I stayed in Kansas that summer, and that was the summer I absolutely laid an egg, man. I didn't do anything. I felt super, super tired after everything after the whole season in Finland, and then not necessarily having a break going into Mexico. I was just, and I didn't realize how Mexico really was. For, like I said, 4 games a week for like 4, maybe 5 weeks I was there. That was tough, and so I sat on my butt, and and also I got a little bit cocky too, because I won my first year out, and so that was definitely a lesson learned. Just because, like I said, it really backfired in the end, because my agent at the time, remember I fired my first agent. This is my second agent. His name was Iman. His name is Iman. He put me on with France Pro A Euro Cup team, man. I had just got done averaging about, I think, 17 and 7 or 17 and 8 in the championship in Finland. And so I come to France Pro A, and my head is in the clouds. My ego is high. Feeling cocky and feeling myself. That, like I said, that summer I didn't work out, and so it showed. I come to find out. My agent at the time told me that I was one of the youngest imports to be in Pro A in Euro Cup. And then I definitely didn't take advantage of it. I was playing behind Mustafa Fall. He's 7'2", probably got like a 7'8" wingspan, something crazy, 7'8" or 7'6" wingspan. I don't know where he's playing it this year, but he's year league. He's a year league guy, and so he was playing about 28, 30 minutes a game, and man, I was only getting about 10, 11, 12, and come to look at it now, I should have stayed there. But it is what it is. The decisions you make, right? Which that decision led me into a deep spiral, man. And so even in Pro A France, like, before I get to the other things, France was cool. The food was good. Authentic beignets. They had there were bakeries on every spot. You couldn't find a corner that didn't have a bakery store. The food was real good. The culture was solid. France was a little. It was different from Finland, obviously different from Mexico. They were nice. They were good people. I don't have anything bad to say about anybody or any culture or anything, but France was just France. The wine was solid. Which I'm still currently drinking French wine now. Um, France from wine. I mean, wine from France. But yeah, man, like that style of play, I wasn't ready for because I was out of shape. Like those first 2 months, I got my butt kicked, and like I said, at the same time, I wasn't playing that much either. I was getting my butt kicked in practice. I wasn't playing, but I would say them last couple weeks though, when I was like kind of back in my game shape, it was getting real good. But I just wasn't still ready for that. I wasn't ready to go through that. Um, yeah, so I kind of hit a wall there just because I wasn't playing, and so hit my agent up demanding to leave, and I ended up leaving to go to Ukraine. And when I got to Ukraine, man, you want to talk about a fall off. Like I just experienced like Paris, France. I just experienced like Lyon. I just experienced like crazy places in France with nice architecture, beautiful cities, um, wonderful food, just a real exquisite place. And then I go to Ukraine. Now, I know the whole stuff been going on with Ukraine as far as, that. I'm not going to get into that, but I would say what you see on TV as far as like depleted buildings and stuff like that, man, that stuff already been there, respectfully. So like when I got to Ukraine, like it was a shock. Like I went from nice weather in France back to the cold in Ukraine, and so I got mad weird looks. Like I just didn't like Eastern Europe. Like it was a totally different experience. I still got picked up. Everything was cool going through the visa checkpoint and everything. But I remember specifically on that drive, man, it was just super, super dark. And I knew then on, as soon as I got off that, as soon as I was on that drive there, I knew I made the wrong decision. I knew something was just completely off, like completely off. And well, we had to make, first off, I had a long trip from France to Ukraine. I forgot how long it was, but when we got to Ukraine, we had to stop at like 2-3 different places. We had to stop at like McDonald's to get my food. We had to stop at like 2 different clothing spots. This is at the nighttime too. 2 different places to like pick up my jerseys, my practice gear, and everything. Well, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to kill. Like I'm there to do some work, like get some real stuff done. And man, I found out, well, we had a road game. I'm prepared to play. I think it was about an hour trip or whatever. Like I knew something was up. I'm getting ready to play. We get to the locker room, getting ready to put my clothes on, getting everything on. The GM, I'm literally about to walk out there. You would think this is a movie. You would think it's like a movie. Like I'm in the hallway walking towards the gym. I can see the lights. I'm about to turn right into the gym. Dude stops me, hand on my chest, like, yo, wait, like, we don't know if you can play today. I'm like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, we don't know if you can play, man. I'm like, why? And he was like, we just found out that you're not able to participate in Basketball Champions League and in Euro Cup in the same season. So I'm like, what? Like, how's that even a rule, And I called my agent, and he's spilling me all the details. I'm sick right now. Like, I don't know what's going on. And yeah, man, like that was a wild time. I'm not thinking of what to say. I'm just like, I'm thinking about like that time because it was a real rough moment, man. They ended up playing. I ended up going home. Like we ended up going back to home in like Ukraine, and man, I was just super depressed, bro. Like for the first time, like I didn't play basketball. For some reason why I just didn't understand like the whole reason behind it, and so like man, I fell into deep depression, and so I remember the GM. I'm like, yo, like, okay, it's just Champions League, whatever. Like, let me play. Like, just let me play this game, And he was like, you here for Champions League or you here for this league? Like, we brought you here for Champions League. We didn't bring you here for this league. And so, that was like the real heart in my chest. I'm like, okay, dang, like, I can't play right now. And so those 2 weeks, like, they wouldn't let me practice. I couldn't come to practice. Like, I don't know. I got like tossed to the side a little bit, and the only thing to kind of eat there was like this one restaurant, and then like I would just go to this grocery store. I remember trying to make my own chicken. It burnt. That was like a stab in the chest too. Boom. I'm like, dang. I don't know how to feed myself a little bit. Like I don't know. And so like I said, I got real depressed, man, and. It was dark there too. And I drank a lot. I could drink a whole fifth of Henny in what, maybe a day. Like I was drinking all day, playing FIFA, watching Netflix. It was wild. It was really the first time, basketball got taken from me, and so I didn't know what to do. I didn't have anybody really to talk to. I didn't have anything, and so I ended up leaving. I felt soulless, bro. I felt like empty, but I ended up leaving, went back home. Was at home for a little bit, started working out, but I remembered, making a switch, in my professional career. Like that was one shift where I know I had to step it up a notch. I know that I was never going to go into a situation not in shape ever again, and so because I know me being out of shape, going into Pro A France, going into Chalon, trickled everything. If I was in shape, I wouldn't leave. I would appreciate it more. Like I probably would have performed more, would have played more. So I did that, and so that was a kick in my own butt. And fortunately, I think I was out. I was back at home after Ukraine from November. I literally flew home Thanksgiving night, by the way. So November, December, January. I think I went back to Pro B France, like around January, February. And that was great because it felt like a second chance. I got to rejuvenate myself in the best way possible. Obviously, coming into a situation where a team is already established, you gotta try to fit in, and at the same time, make sure that you respectfully, like, you get yours, and so it was great because I had great teammates. We bonded well. We were just some young guys with a nice group of veterans, local veterans. That team name was Boulazac, BBD Boulazac, right next to Bordeaux, which was a great experience itself. Again, I was already accustomed to France, and so, I was already used to the food, the language, I was used to the culture and everything, so that was a pretty solid, year. The real special thing about that year is me and my team won the championship. We took that team from Pro B to Pro A, right? and the team that I was on, Elan Shalom, won the championship in Pro A. So I thought that was crazy, and looking back at it, it's nobody but Yahuwah, the Most High, like just orchestrating everything, and you'll see kind of like how these pieces come together in my life. And so that's why I'm trying to provide this information to you, man, so you can like really witness this and hear other people's testimonies too, because it's a real journey, man. And so I thought that was real special. Again, winning the championship my second year, like 2 for 2, like, yo, I'm hot right now, like this is crazy. I just won again. But I for sure learned my lesson going into that summer. I said, I'm never going into another year like that. And so I went to Manhattan, Kansas, my old college town where K-State is at. That's when I met my wife now, but at the time, Taylor. And, I was kicking it with her a lot, but I was working out too. And so I was probably doing about 3-4 workouts a day. I was working out with Coach Carr. I forgot what school he's at right now, but hopefully if he hears this, shouts out to Coach Carr, man, because he showed me what it takes to be a professional. He put me on game too, on how to handle things, when it comes to this basketball world. And he was an ex-NBA guy, so you can always learn knowledge from guys like that. And he was a coach for the women's basketball team. He gave me a lot of nuggets. His son is at Tennessee. He's going to be in the NBA. His son's going to be in the NBA, which is a blessing because I know I'm kind of going off topic a little bit, but that kid put in a lot of work, so kudos to him. And so, yeah, that summer, man, I was in Manhattan. I was doing about 3-4 workouts a day. I know I was doing my weight room stuff. I was working out with Coach Carr, call him CC. I was doing shooting, and I was playing open gym against the guys. So I know for a fact, on average, I was probably doing at least 3 to 4, maybe 5 sometimes, and honestly, I was able to do that because my recovery was so tight knit that I was able to perform the next day, man. Like, I know by the time I was done with my workouts by like 1 o'clock in the middle of Manhattan, Kansas, in the summer, it's about 100 degrees. I'm going to the pool. Me and my girl, like me and my wife, we going to the pool and we chilling. And I had the recovery, the ice bath in the training room. I had Luke Saber on deck. Like it was cool, man. Like, I had a lot of stuff, and so I was doing a lot of workouts, man, and I got in great shape. So my third season, I go back to Finland. I go back to Kovo, which is pretty good. I don't have to get into it that much because, I talked about all that food and stuff. And so I went back to Finland, and it was a great experience because I got to share it with my wife. I got to share it with Taylor, and everything that I've experienced, like those first years, I gave it to her, and to see like her facial expressions on things, her taste in new things, her seeing different basketball, it was wonderful. It brought a lot of joy to myself. For her to be able to see these experiences. And I'm like, I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to have a family and share what I was going through, and also at the same time, I think I wouldn't be able to do this alone, to be like overseas, like truly alone. Now there are guys that out there that are great at it, like I know a lot of people that are good solo dolo, but I don't know, it's just the way I was. I wanted her to be with me, and so she flew out in October, and she was there the whole season, and it was good. We got to learn each other a lot more, and I mean, because at the end of the day, it was really only us talking. Like, I knew that I knew that I could talk to her in English and like in an open setting, and like nobody knew. Like it was like we were in our own little bubble, which was pretty cool. We got to experience that, and unfortunately, I had another great year. I knew that league. The refs knew me. People knew me, respected me just because I won. So. Thankfully I was able to get a job again, and that time I knew that we was gonna go to the championship, but that first round, man, I ended up getting sick. We was about to beat Helsinki. We was about to run through them. It was over. There was no way that they could beat us, but I ended up getting sick, man. I ended up getting like a food virus, and it was violent poops. It was violent poops, okay? Like, it wasn't good at all, and I was super dehydrated. I was lightheaded. I couldn't really stand. Definitely couldn't play. I remember trying to give something for my team. Like, the last game, I ended up playing like 5 minutes, had 0 points and like 0 rebounds, and totally threw off my stats, like, yet again. Like, I was averaging probably like 19 and 9 before that happened, and then it went down to like 18, 17, and like 8, 9, like a low 9. It was crazy because I was almost averaging a double. Well, yeah, and so that happened, and the next year I ended up going to Balıkesir, Turkey. I had a pretty decent summer. Obviously, I'm tweaking my workouts here and there, trying to adjust. But I go to Balıkesir, Turkey. Now, the special thing about Balıkesir, Turkey was, once again, my wife was with me. We ended up getting married that summer. My wife was with me, and I went to Turkey for preseason. Now, this is a whole different experience in itself because I'm going from different country to different country. This is my 4th year now, and I've never experienced Turkey. And this is different because now we're doing preseason running in the mountains. We doing hills. We running on dirt roads. Like, it was really wild. Like, Monday through Friday, we would be on a track, and we would run. And, we had our strength and conditioning coach. He wasn't, he was a conditioning coach. He wasn't necessarily strength. He was like our conditioning and mobility coach. But he was real good. He got me in the best shape that I've probably like ever been. And I still kind of like reach out to him and tell him thank you, and we still connect because that work was not easy, but it for sure paid off because that season was my best season, probably my professional career ever. It was 2 imports, me and my guy Los Medlock. Shouts out to him. He inspired me to have a beautiful family too, man. He has a wonderful family. Yeah, man, I averaged 20 and 10 that year, legit, and we were 13-0. It was a crazy year because as we were going 13-0, we weren't getting paid, man. We weren't getting paid. They were 2.5 months late. 2.5 months late, man. And my wife is pregnant. Like me and my wife just got married and found out we're pregnant, and bro, they're 2.5 months late, but I'm violating, y'all. I'm going nuts. And this was like another kind of like pivotal moment. I felt like it was another pivotal moment in my career because I'm completely dominating this team. The team we're on was probably one of the best teams overall in Europe. Like, we were top 25 best teams in Europe, a second division team. That's how efficient we were. We were probably scoring, because the coach, I think it's Genser. Shout out to my guy Genser, man. I love that coach because he believed in me. He was the one coach that truly was like, I know what you can do. You gonna lead us there. And this is why, like, when I get to it, this was so tough to leave. We ended up leaving, but this was so tough because, like, this coach truly believed in me. And he made an effort every possession. Like, yo, we're going to play through you. Nobody else. We're going to play through you. And he had a system. The whole system was around me, but we won, bro. Like, I averaged, like I said, 20 and 10. Carlos, he averaged 19 and 9 assists. Like 19 and 9 assists, 19 and 8 assists. Our four-man, Haas, he probably averaged like 12 to 15. Our three-man, Rhea, he averaged a lot. Like, bro, like we were putting up like 100 points a game. We would, like I said, top 25 most efficient teams in Western Europe. That's wild. And I wish I could take a picture. I wish I had a picture of it, man, to prove it. But, like, that's really how crazy we were. Like, we were getting a lot of recognition from Fenerbahce because they were looking at us like, yo, what are y'all doing? You know, we were really just running it up. We played, like, everything. Like, our plays were like, we wanted to score in under 8 seconds. And we were jacking threes. And we were, like, leaking. Like, the guards were, like, leaking out. We literally practiced, like, Kevin Love throws. Like, Kevin Love outlets. If we get the rebound, boom, we throwing it. Boom. We would literally work on that. Like, and we had to do it. And it worked. It worked. Like, it was wild. But and we ran so fast because we was in shape. We was there like a month before everybody. So we were in a lot more shape than a lot of people. I think people, like, we was there for a month running, man. I think people showed up like the last 2 weeks. So we were already like on top of everybody, man. But unfortunately, like I said, like, we weren't getting paid. And that sucked. Like, the food was solid. Like, the weather was cool. It was hot during like that August, September-ish, you know, when we first getting there. I like Mediterranean food. They served that. It was real good. I didn't mind it at all. My wife, on the other hand, she was pregnant at the time. She didn't like the chicken. She thought I was a savage for eating the chicken, but you know, she was just going through her own thing. But everything was solid, man. And you know, my wife was getting checkups and, you know, with the doctor. Well, like I said, man, one day it became enough, and they kept lying and kept saying, well, next week, next day, and then fortunately it never came. And so I opted to get out of the contract. You know, I sent in a letter. They didn't appreciate it. Basically saying to terminate my contract, give me what I owe. They didn't want to do that. So me and Taylor, my pregnant wife, I had to meet with the GM, which the GM had me and my wife wait for 3 or 4 hours at his office, waiting on him to finally pull up. When he finally pulls up, him and the translator, they have all my money, cash, and they wouldn't give it to me. They wouldn't give it to me unless I renegotiated the contract, saying that they would pay me more than what they owe per month. So like I'm getting X amount per month. They would say, well, we'll throw an extra 2K on top of that, something like that. And this is like, bro, you can't even pay me what I owe now. You can't even pay me what you owe now. What makes you think I'm gonna believe that this number right here, which is a crazy number, but what makes you think I'm gonna believe that you can pay that when you can't even pay me this right now? On top of me averaging 20 and 10, on top of us being 13 and 0, there's no reason that we shouldn't be getting paid. Well, the team was tied up, I guess, with the government or something like that, or the city officials or something like that. So, they were withholding money on some situation. I don't know, man. Long story short, we didn't get paid. Had to leave. Thankfully, I'm a good person, because nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt in that situation, man, because like I said, he wouldn't give me my money. He literally had my money like on his chest, holding it just like this and saying, I'm not going to give you this unless you sign. Well, no. It got really, really ugly. Security had to be called. And me and my wife ended up leaving. I don't even know how we packed all our stuff and taken it in a car, a small car, by the way. I don't know how, but man, praise Yah, we did it. Ended up getting out of that situation, going back to Finland. My wife ends up giving birth there, right? We end up getting second place in Finland. Came up short that time again. Poured my heart out that season, trying to get it for my family, and ended up going short, right? And so that summer was a great summer. Leading up to my 5th season, right? I'm in La Banda, Argentina. Now, La Banda, Argentina was a different place. Super hot. Again, we're talking hotter than Mexico, because La Banda, if you look it up, is close to the equator. So they're August, September. No. Like they're September, October. Like their fall is like their summer. It's weird. But they have to shut down businesses midday because it gets super hot in La Banda. Small town. Really mainly only one main street. Obviously there's different other streets, different other avenues, but it's one main street. They had taxi cabs. It provided no transportation, so we had to get a taxi. Sometimes I would walk to practice. It'll be about a 20-minute walk, maybe 15 minutes. On those hot days now, nobody's outside, right? So there's no taxis. Like sometimes I'll be walking, you can throw your thumb up, there'll be a taxi, you can be like, yo, you can get you a taxi. Taxis are cheap there, it's not a problem. But, on those hot days, ain't no taxi. So you gotta walk. I remember walking with my shirt off, straight to the gym, man. No AC in the gym. It's hot. Super hot. So hot that we had to move practice a couple times to another warehouse. Well, to a warehouse, not another warehouse, because it was a gym that we were in at first. But we moved to a warehouse that kind of had AC, but still hot, But that La Banda was a whole experience because small town. We had Santiago next to us, which was a bigger city, but it wasn't everything. Different from Turkey, very very different from Turkey, because in Turkey there was a lot of high buildings, big malls, like their architecture and how they build things is wild out there. It's absolutely beautiful and stunning, to be honest with you. I love Turkey. But it's just a complete different turnaround when you go to Labanda, and so I heard Labanda and Santi, that whole city is nice now too. They got a new stadium, they got better hotels and stuff. So I heard it's coming up, man. But yeah, Labanda was different for us. The food wasn't. We had one restaurant that we ate. That's it. One restaurant. There was a little ice cream shop, that made us feel like home, that we would get every now and then. But there was only one restaurant that we would eat sometimes. They would order we would have to order the food. They weren't part of the club or anything. We were just cool with the owners or whatever. And so it was an experience, man. Like, my wife and kid, man, I think they had a little difficult time. I know my wife had a little difficult time, man. And when wifey's not right, a lot of things don't go right. So, but overall, mentally, I played good. I would say that. Like, I had a pretty good outing. Teams in Argentina are still reaching out for me, and so I think I did pretty good. Unfortunately, though, I ended up getting hurt. Ended up rolling my ankle, man, and so I had to leave around December. Left around December. Couldn't finish the whole season. I just sprained my ankle. It was a high grade ankle sprain, but it was gonna keep me out for weeks, and they didn't know what to do, and they didn't want to wait. They didn't want to wait on me trying to get healthy, because there was no way I was gonna miss a lot of games. So Leo, the coach, he respect me. He's still asking for me now, I guess, and other teams in Argentina. But yeah, he was a good coach. He was another player coach that I had. Understood the game. He was a great coach, great player too. He was on the Argentina national team when they beat USA, and then I think he set the record for most points, most 3-pointers. I think he had 14 or 15 threes. And in practice, he could really shoot that. He could shoot. I mean, and the thing is, he just got done hooping 3 years before, he started coaching me. So he's fresh off playing, which is pretty cool, but after, I left Labanda, I didn't even say, the food in Labanda was good. Argentina food, like the empanadas, it was alright. Because I would travel, sometimes I go to Buenos Aires because of, road games and stuff. And so, Argentina's really known for their barbecue, like their meat, grilling their meat. Their meat is really, really good. Pause. Anyways. The meat in La Banda is really, really good. It's solid. It's well seasoned. It's very, very good. That's one thing I miss. Argentinians, when it comes to basketball, their culture is they're pretty well knit, together. And so when it comes to basketball, their IQ is very, very high, because respectfully, they're not the most athletic, so they got to use angles and pick and rolls and ball screens a little bit more than relying on their athleticism, and they have to rely on other things in their athleticism. And so they could really, really pass, they could really space the floor, they could really shoot. Argentina basketball is really solid. It's not that bad. The only thing is they do a lot of pick and rolls. And so, I have an Argentina coach right now when we're doing a lot of pick and rolls. But, I mean, it is what it is. You got to be able to adapt. And that's the whole reason, I'm still playing, because I can adapt. So, yeah, after leaving La Banda, man, I end up going to Denizli, Turkey, after my ankle ends up healing. Go to Denizli, Turkey. Now, I go by myself for the first month because this is I go by myself the first month because my wife. Well, obviously, I just got done playing in Turkey and we haven't gotten our money, so I'm skeptical, and so I go and I check it out. Obviously I get paid and I'm like, okay, like maybe it might be good. So they end up coming out, and I do pretty good there too. I'm well respected in Turkey, and it was a solid. Now that coach, I didn't necessarily like that coach. I forgot his name, but I think they call him I don't know, but yeah, that coach didn't really utilize me well, but it is what it is. Like, again, you just got to take what you can get, because I'm coming from a coach in Turkey that wanted me, that made me the number one option. And then this coach, I was like the third or fourth option, even though I was the import. So it was just weird. But again, the team was already established, so I'm not here to, I wasn't here to just totally take over, but Denizli was solid. It was I think it was better than Balıkesir, just because Denizli was kind of like in the mountains a little bit, and so the drives and the sunsets and everything was absolutely beautiful. Obviously I love the food there. After a while things get old, but wifey was cooking and everything too, so the food is always, I love food, man. So I'm going to eat it regardless of where I'm at. I'm going to try it out. And so that was a solid time. But, that Denizli stint was just trying to be able to adapt to coaching and that whole situation, because like I said, I was like the third, fourth, maybe fifth option, and I'm trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to play. I'm trying to set my family up, man. And so I ran into some unfortunate things in that situation, but I was still producing, still finding ways. And unfortunately, that season, COVID hit March 2020. I got there around January, right? Yeah, so like January, February. We were kind of in like February, we were kind of hearing about COVID, and then it hit March. It hit Turkey in March. That's when it hit us. Every other country was shutting down around Europe except for us. We were still playing, no fans. Like, we didn't know what was going on. They was closing, countries down, and so I'm still playing, still trying to get it. And man, that last game, I remember the last game, we were on the road and I got my nose broke. I broke my nose. Some dude took me out as I'm trying to dunk. I was clearly like already in the air, but cracked his elbow dead on my nose. Boom. I had to get surgery. And then around that same time, I'm trying to heal, and we trying to figure out, are we going to play? Are we not? I'm trying to keep up with the news. They talking about this, they talking about that, COVID variant. Like, man, it was wild. And so, and also, this is around the same time, this is leading into April now. My little brother, who's playing for the Tennessee Titans right now in the NFL, he's preparing to get drafted. And so he's projected to go 5th round, and his draft party is in April 22nd. And well, I want to get there. I want to go. That's my brother. Like, you tripping if you think I'm not going to go. Well, it was an issue trying to get out of Turkey because they were shutting everything down. Transportation shut down, city shut down. I couldn't even go. Usually me and my wife would go from Denizli to Izmir. It's probably like hour and a half, 2 hours. They shut the borders down so you can only stay in that district. And we was like, nah, no way, we're doing this. And at the same time, like, I knew that's why that Ruach is real, that Holy Spirit, because I knew we weren't gonna play again. I'm like, bro, there's no way that we're gonna finish this season out. So I'm telling my God to send me home. Send me and my family home. Me and my family want to get home. We know we're not gonna play. I know I got my little brother NFL draft shit coming up. I need to go home. I remember meeting the owner, one of the managers, in his office, in his textile company office, with my son. They owed me money already. Like, I'm kind of like waiting on my last check. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, just let me get my prorate or whatever, however you want to do it. Let me get something and let me get out of here, man. Like, let me get my shit and get out of here, man. Well, he was like, all right, well, we're going to send it to you. You know, we're going to send you this last month. And we like, all right, cool. Well, at the same time, all within 48 hours, my wife on the back end is trying to figure out how we going to get home. We had to call the U.S. Embassy to see if flights were leaving from Turkey to go to the U.S. That's how strict it was. Fortunately, we got connected to somebody at the embassy. That guy connected us to flights, and we ended up getting a flight home, right? Now, the flight was at like 4 or 5, maybe. No, I'm sorry. The flight was at like 6, 7 a.m. We had to drive from Denizli to Istanbul, which was maybe 4 hours. So we had to leave. I had to get permission to leave that district, that Denizli district. So I'm up all night going to the police station, telling them why I'm leaving, where I'm going, what I'm doing, why so soon. And I'm like, bro, don't you see people tripping out here? Like, I need to go home. And so I'm up all night. Man, they hit me. The GM finally, one of the manager and the translator come to the apartment. They was like, here, man, like, you just sign this real quick. Like, it's just some paper. Like, you ain't got to worry about it. I sign it. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, man, get us out of here. Get us out of here. Whatever you got to do to get us out of here, get me and my people out. We don't know what this is. We not sticking around. Come to find out, they wrote something in Turkish that said, I basically can't sue for the rest of the month, for the rest of those months, because again, we left in March, we still got April, May, we still probably got like 2-3 more checks. They wrote something in Turkey that said I'm not able to sue them basically for my check. Not only that, we end up getting home, right? The guy was supposed to wire minimum my last check for sure, right? I knew I wasn't gonna get the other 2 months. Like, why would I get the other 2 months if I'm not working? All right, cool, whatever. But that month that I did work, that's my bread. Tell me why. I'm gonna tell you the number on this, because this is how much an OG told me, don't discuss numbers. You don't want to talk about how much people making anything, but I'm gonna tell you this, right? I'm gonna say this. He was supposed to send me 8.5. No, he's supposed to send me 7.5. 7.5K. That man sent me 1K, bro. That man sent me 1K, bro. He sent me 1. And the thing is, the 1 wasn't even 1 because like $30 had to come out because of the transfer. So, yeah, man. Like, and the reason why is because he came up with a list of things that had nothing to do with my bread. He was like, "Oh well, you had to pay." Literally, I crap you not, bro. He said I had to pay $200, 200 USD, because they couldn't find the Wi-Fi box. $200 USD because they couldn't find the Wi-Fi box. $300 USD for the cleaning services. Fam, I got my house cleaned quite a good amount of times. I never paid 300 USD for cleaning my apartment. My apartment wasn't even that big. I had 2 bedrooms. I had one upstairs, one downstairs. I had half of a kitchen. That's it. 300 USD? Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Listen, he tallied up. Oh, you had to get new tires. You had to get the car. Trust me on this. I'm not the only person that has been through this. There are other people out there, and you will hear about it, of people not getting their money. Now, let's backtrack. This is, what, the second time I haven't gotten paid in Turkey now, right? Everything looks sweet that first month, but sure enough, man, COVID, right? So, there's a lot of different not opportunity, but a lot of different messed up stuff happens out here, man. Where I'm not getting all my money, like it's wild. Think about everything that I just been through, like injuries, not getting paid on time, not getting my money at all. I didn't even tell you how much the first team in Balakesa owed me. Y'all would lose your minds. Y'all would literally, like, I know I was, like I said, 2.5, 3 months late, but think about the 2.5, 3 months late. You're already behind, on top of trying to finish out the season. Fam, they owe too much, right? All these obstacles, all these things is going on, right? COVID, like. And and it was solid. Like, me and Denizli was solid, man. But unfortunately, that thing didn't work out. And then, like, the organization was just shady as a whole. And I think I ended up hearing, like, that GM, like, ended up stealing money from the club too, or something like that. So he's, like, super far, like, super out of there. And yeah, that was wild. So now it's what, March? It was like April. So we talking May, June, July. I don't have a job. I don't have a basketball job. I'm not playing basketball. Everything's shut down. Moved back to Manhattan with my wife and kid. End up getting a job at Jimmy John's because my wife was OD worker at Jimmy John's, like climbing the ranks. Extremely hard worker. Shout out to her. Like, she put me on with a job at Jimmy John's. I always had to do something, so I was making deliveries. I just pop in my AirPods, do the dishes, make some sandwiches. I didn't really learn the cashier too much. I didn't want to deal with that, but not like I necessarily had to, because nobody was necessarily coming in like that. So it was only drive-through, which was sweet, man. Like, Yahuwah helped me, man, because, man, it was always coming, like, people coming inside. The vibes probably would have been a lot different. But the fact that, everything was only drive-through, so it was only the employees working, so you couldn't really, like, see what was going on, I guess, But imagine it. I'm 6'8", 260, with the Jimmy John's apron on, with the hat. I think I look handsome in it, but it looked crazy. It looked crazy, and I'm in Manhattan, Kansas. Like, I'm not saying people knew me at that time, or they knew me, whatever. Like, it's just like, come on, man. But this is breaking my ego down a little bit more, though. It's humbling me, and so it's honestly great that I got to experience that, because I worked my butt off. Like, I served them sandwiches. I know how to make them sandwiches. I know how to wrap them up real good. Like, I was improving. I did my job well, man. And surviving during that time, and obviously, still trying to work out and stuff. I mean, it was a grind, juggling that. And also, trying to be a husband and a father. I think my son was I think he touched what I don't think he was about a year, getting to that. He's getting older, so trying to be around him more and appreciate that whole thing, and that juggling that, was pretty cool. It was tough, but again, this whole thing has its ups and downs, so um forward, track. Now I'm on my 6th year, right? End up by this time, I don't know how many agents I've been through, because people are getting hired and fired left and right. I'm like, yo, you not getting, do woo woo woo, boom, like like at this time, like I became numb to, because I know it's a business. I've been torched left and right. Like, I hope y'all can truly understand this. Like, let's look at it. Like, well, my first year was solid, right? Second year, right, tricked it off, ended up bouncing back a little bit, right? Third year, solid. Only 2 solid years I've had was both years in Finland, right? So I'm like, two and one right now. Balakessa, right? Like, not getting paid, right? You got to think that's probably like I said, 2-3 months. That was tough. Going back to Finland now, with Finland, we're living off the euro, so the money is more expensive than a dollar in Finland. So it's kind of hard to kind of like gauge and save. Now I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't the best with my bread. I was not. I was still trying to learn how to do that, how to manage it and do everything. But we're still getting by, and we're still doing what we need to do. Well, but still, I'm still missing out on a lot of money. You got to think, a teacher gets paid on the 1st and 30th, or whatever, month after month after month after month. They know that they could dig themselves in a 10-foot hole for 10 days, and they know within them 10 days, if it's the first, that they gonna come out of that hole and that money gonna be there. They know it. That was not the same in me and my family's situation. We did not know what was going on. Like, we're not getting paid. I'm getting hurt. Like, I'm missing out on months. You got to understand. I'm missing out on months to grow my wealth and my family's wealth. And it's taking a toll on me mentally. It's taking a toll on my family. And so it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stuff takes a lot of mental work, and I'm just taking a break going into like these past 3 years, because the years that I'm talking about right now have shifted my mindset and my overall mentality going into, these next upcoming years that I'm talking about. And I'm gonna be honest, I even hit another bump, in between after this year, and I'm gonna talk to you about it. But it's just wild, because you always gonna take hits in the road. I think like this professional basketball, being a professional basketball, it's like entrepreneurship. It is. Like, it's only you and only you. Like, yeah, you with another organization in a business, but you here to represent yourself. And so, like, in these unfortunate circumstances, sometimes, like, you may come up short and not get paid, man. That's wild. I think the only players union, like, you can't do that in the NBA. The NBA players know they're gonna get paid, right? And they getting paid an extra amount of money. I don't know if they get paid 12 like year round like that, but they get paid enough to where, like, if you take 3 months off, you good, right? But, like, man, it's wild that France and Germany are the only countries where they have like a player union, where like if you don't get paid, you're backed through the player union to receive some type of financial compensation. Oh, No, yeah, those are the only two countries. So it's not safe out here, man. It's not safe. There is no safety net for overseas basketball. Especially like, so me being injured, I didn't have insurance in the States. I'm 25. I gotta get my own insurance. But how can I get my own insurance if I don't have the bread for it? Think about it. I gotta pay per month for insurance, but I don't have the stability to pay per month for insurance. So I'm trying to tweak it. And at the same time, I know I can't take too much long off because I'm for sure not going to go back to how I was my second year out, being 280, 290, out of shape, being inflated, being fat. I can't do that, man. I'm being too out of shape and I'm not going that way. So, I'm grinding, man. I'm grinding and at the same time trying to take care of my family. So now, this is my sixth season, and I have an injured agent named Benji at the time. They got a call from my old coach, Chino, that coached me in Mexico my first year in Obregon and Halcones. He wanted me on the team in LMBP, so we made that happen. And this time around, Mexico was a different experience, and Chihuahua is more Americanized. They got Walmart, they got Costco. I think Obregon had Walmart and Costco and stuff too, but it's totally different. This is a lot more Americanized here, considering the restaurants. Us being about 3.5 hours from El Paso, so. It's pretty big. It's one of the biggest cities in Mexico. Very, very good food. You cannot go wrong with Mexican food. Chilaquiles is probably like my favorite breakfast. You can never go wrong with enchiladas. You can't go wrong with tacos here. You can't go wrong with burritos here. Like, you cannot go wrong here, man. And the best thing about it is they have different, like, varieties of those things, man. So it's wonderful. But I got here to Chihuahua, and it was a great experience. My wife is pregnant with our second child. Like, unfortunately, we had to stay in the hotel, which you got to understand. Again, like, this is like during COVID. Those times, again, March 2020, that's when COVID hit. I'm just going through the timeline again. COVID 20 hit. March 2020, COVID hit. March, April, May, June, July, going into August. So now COVID has kind of cooled down a little bit, but, it's still prevalent. So LMBP was a little bit different because we didn't play with fans. We had to get tested every week. Some people ended up testing positive, some people didn't. It was a crazy experience because it was like my first time since college, like being on a team with like 6 imports. It was my first time playing in a while with high level players, and so I enjoyed it. I was coming off the bench, which was a totally different experience in itself. I haven't been off the bench in a while, so that humbled me. But it was good because I knew I was able to stay professional and I did my job. Obviously I'm doing something right if this is my third year here. So it was lovely, man. The culture here is wonderful. I remember staying in a hotel, and there's literally a mariachi band like downstairs, like waking us up. And it's not like for us, but we stayed in the city center at the time next to the cathedral, and every morning, like, there would be people out there selling things or playing music. It's a vibe, man. And so they would be out there playing music, man, and it would be lovely. And so that's one thing I do miss. I miss that part being over there, because I loved that music. But there was no food really around there. I think there was like a Subway or something, but nothing really like, nothing like walking distance that you could probably get, The games were good there, like I said, we weren't playing in front of crowds, but it was a short-lived experience, because the LMBP goes from August all the way up until December. So maybe November, depending on, how good you are, if you go to playoffs or anything like that. So it was short. I ended up not. I was supposed to sign for the state league. Remember, I told y'all about how there's different levels in Mexico. There's the LMBP, then you got the Cibacopa, then you got the Chihuahua State League. I was supposed to supposed to stay in the state league for the remaining months, but I did not make that decision to go back, because during the times that I was in Mexico, I had just got introduced. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. When COVID hit, right? Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what to do. Everybody's businesses shut down. Everybody knew, like, okay, something had to be done. How can you make more money? Whatever, right? I got introduced to Forex trading during that time. But I got introduced to Forex through this MLM academy called I Am Master Academy. Now, I'm not going to get into that whole shindig, but it was overall, looking back at it, it was overall a great experience, because I'm able to do this. I was never able to talk like this. First off, I don't like talking like that. And second, I don't like being in front of a camera, and so, it definitely took me out of my comfort zone to talk, be a little bit more marketable. It taught me communication skills, people skills, the art of selling. Now, I'm not here to sell anybody anything right now. I'm just saying that's just how I feel like that's just how capitalism a little bit works, right? You want to sell, some people sell, you just got to talk, you want to sell a good game, you want to talk game, you want to be on your, you know what I'm saying? So, it got that. I Am Master Academy put me on that. Now, that was through the recruiting thing, right? At the end of the day, all I wanted to do was learn how to trade. And so now forward months to LMBP, when I'm in season, now I'm doing these calls. I'm calling people. I'm trying to, put people on. The whole Ponzi scheme thing. You bring one on, that person bring two on, that person bring three on. So I'm trying to do that, and I made the decision, and this is my. It's not an issue, but this is something with me. It's if I'm gonna do it, then I'm gonna do it. And so I decided to stay in Dallas and do the I Am Master Academy full time. Now, I don't think I ever sent out a formal apology to my friends and to my family. Because I know that was probably, especially my close ones, I know that was probably one of the most times that I was freaking annoying. I'm trying to tell my guys to come on, and it was so corny, because my approach was that I wanted to tell people to come with me so that we can all learn to trade and get this money. Because I realized, all right, trading, you could really do it. But the whole selling product was we're gonna sell you how you can learn how to trade, and it was whack, And so, long story short, man, I'm still trading to this day, but the communication skills, the personable skills, all that stuff stuck with me. And so I took that head on, and I, it was a wild couple months, and so again, to the guys out there that I was trying to recruit and get put on, like, my basketball teammates, former college teammates, friends, homies, high school friends, like, I apologize, yo, like, I truly, truly do. That was a wild time of mine, and everybody has those moments. Well, anyways, I took that head. I took that, and then I didn't have a job for that whole time. Like, I didn't have anything. My grandpa was helping me and my family. Like, I was working out still. Don't get that twisted. Like, I was still working out, but I'm sitting here, running meetings, doing programs, trying to get it, and I was doing DoorDash and side hustles on the side to, like, make some bread. Don't get it twisted. It's not like I was just sitting on my butt. And also my wife was doing things too. Like, we were making it. We made it work. And obviously during that time, not everything was necessarily booming like that. So it's not like you needed it's not like now where inflation is hitting, like eggs is like $5. Things were still a little bit solid, but it was definitely going towards that rate. We did that for those months, and leading up to next year, right? We're talking November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Now, again, I come back to Chihuahua, right? Now, this season, basketball wise, it was a little bit of a crap show because it was 10, 11 Americans on the team. We're all egotistical. We did not mesh at all. I think some people lost their jobs like 3 weeks into it. It wasn't really the best time. Now during that time, it was the same thing. Again, the food was solid, everything was solid. Like, that's just a whole different, not whole different, but that was the same experience as last year. And Mexico basketball, and I didn't talk about it earlier, but Mexico basketball is real physical, and they kind of let you get away with some things, and I love it because I can play here. I can play here freely. I can play here. It reminds me of the Big 12 in a way. Like, I can just play free, play real tough. Hack you, foul you. They're not gonna really call everything like that, but it's vice versa too. So you can't expect every call. So it's a fine line. I finished that season out. I ended up getting hurt again that year, rolling my ankle during Fresnillo, and I think that was the game to get us into playoffs or something like that. Well, yeah, we ended up losing, and so that year I fell short again. After that season, like, I'm like officially like at my worst. Like, I was down super bad, man. Like, my wife and kids had to go up to Kansas a little bit, and I had to stay in Texas to try to figure out a place for us to stay. Financially wasn't necessarily the best. But again, I found a way to figure it out. And so, that's another, what I'm talking about now, or like these next 9 months, where like I didn't have another solid, stable income. Now I have 2 kids now, right? Like, my wife gave birth in Wichita after my first year in Mexico. So, the second year, like, it's a little tougher. Like, I had to really make a decision on what I really wanted to do, because I felt like I felt like I needed to provide for my family, and then I also felt like I can't give up on this goal, this dream of basketball. And so, thankfully, I've had people in my family help me along the way, and I'm truly, truly grateful to my grandfather, my mom, and my dad, my aunt Lena, and my aunt Mary. Not that they helped me financially, because I never necessarily asked for that. I just asked for a place for, that we're able to help me find a place that, I can just put my family and figure something out, And so, thankfully I found an apartment, and, before we found an apartment, we were staying in a hotel for a little bit. And, I think that was like another low point for me. It was at my lowest because, I have a family to take care of, and I wasn't doing my part, and I ran into a bunch of unfortunate situations with basketball. So now it's like, man, I'm tired. Like it's like my seventh season. Like I don't think I can do this anymore. It's too much stress. It's too much stuff going on. And like, as I'm telling you these stories, like, I don't necessarily, it's like throughout these 7 years, I don't necessarily know how to break it down to you so that you could really understand like the mental toll that I'm going through, that I had to go through, like all these places, like every place, like, you got to understand, on top of every situation I've had, man, and every hooping, like we're doing 2-3 practices a day. I'm still trying to build my family up, and I'm still trying to figure out what's best for me. If I'm not the best version of myself, how can I be able to provide for my family? And so that time in the hotel, when I'm, going forward, the time in the hotel before we moved into my apartment, I filled out 150 job applications. I'm like, all right, like, I just gotta do it. I gotta get a job, And again, my perspective is that I'm getting by doing DoorDash and doing like Uber and stuff like that. Like, we're getting by. But, when you're missing out on healthy checks, it's a little bit different than just getting by. So I finally filled out, like I said, 150 applications. Like, I think I still have a picture of that, of all the applications I just filled out. I was just like, boom, 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 boom. Here's my email, here's my resume, this is what I do, like, this is what I've been doing, and it's crazy because out of those 150 emails, I think only like 5 to 7 people hit me back. There was like Dave and Buster's hit me back because I'm just trying to get something until I can go back, next year in August. So Dave and Buster's hit me back, and I like Dave and Buster's. I was gonna work there because, I mean, shoot, why not? I like arcade games, like my family bowling, like, just bust some tables, whatever I gotta do, I'll do, whatever. But I was scheduled to go to an interview, but unfortunately I couldn't go because I had something basketball. Big three basketball came up. That's what it was. But man, I filled out those applications, and I'll get into the Big Three basketball in a little bit. But I filled out those applications, and like I said, only 7 hit me back. And it was Dave and Buster's. I think it was one of those, one of those photo stations where, like, those photo booth stations where, like, somebody, like, let's say, like, that has a wedding, they'll rent out a place where you could take pictures and stuff, where you got like the 360 thing, the 360 photo thing where they doing it, woo woo woo, whatever. That hit me back. A couple like YMCA places hit me back. But that was it. Like, only 7 hit me back, and that was it. And so, I couldn't do any of them because, like I said, I got invited to I heard about this Big Three tryout that was going on in Dallas, and so and the way I heard through that is by constantly going up to this church called Northwest Bible Church, and that was a total grind because once I made the decision to like just say, all right, I'm gonna take this basketball thing head on because this 9 to 5 right now is not it. I'm not ready to give it up. So, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I begged if there was a way that I could able to find balance within it, within like trying to find stability with my family and their comfort, and still trying to pursue my basketball dreams, and so luckily I found this church, Northwest Bible Church, off I think off 75 and in Dallas, and man, that was me and my family's home. Me, my wife, and Thomas and Tobias, and we were there literally every day except for Sundays. But they had a gym in there, they had a weight room in there, and I went there every day at like 7 a.m., bro. I did that every day for like 9-10 months. Literally every day. Nobody in my ear. Nobody to, I had to wake up and look at my family, bro, and be like, yo, no way we can live like this. No way we could be like this. Every day for 9 months, not knowing, and the only thing that kept me going was my faith. Finding that safe haven at Northwest Bible Church. Like every day they would have open gyms, and my guy Brian would he would always say nuggets. Like in the beginning I would always get some type of word. He would say it to the group and he would pray, and it was a blessing because I needed it. And then one day, I think around that January, he said, I got a new layout for Bible verses, a chapter a day. If you want it, let me know. Boom. Like I immediately raised my hand. That mustard seed led into me getting baptized and turning my life around, and it was wonderful because I literally found a home away from home. I showered there, I studied trading there. Like I was literally there, me and my family, and not even that, like my wife would do shipped. She would do shipped and like Instacart, stuff like that, grocery deliverings. Well, while I'm training, while I'm like working out, doing my 4 workouts, and also in the afternoon, I'm training kids. She would be doing shipped. And so we both grinding. She's doing shipped with the kids. The kids are behaving like it was a real grind, and kudos to her because I know a lot of women in that time, they wouldn't. I'm not here to. I don't even know why I'm saying that, but I'm not here to go through all that whole women and men debate. I know my wife and what I've been through in the past. She stuck with me, and other people, wouldn't even think about it. I know, you know what I'm saying, and so, she did her part, and kudos to her because she didn't have to. I didn't ask her to. She said, I'm willing to do this. You do this, I'll do this. Boom, we're gonna make it work. And she trusted me, and like I said, I had to wake up every day and make that decision to do it. I got onto a AAU team, Texas Dynasty. Shout out to Zach Rodriguez. He's the CEO of Texas Dynasty, and he put me on. The way I found him was Coach Malone Texas Blue Chips AAU team. Shout out to Coach Malone, my old AAU coach. I told him that I needed something. I needed to work. I needed something, and he put me on the coaching. So I ended up. He put me on the Coach Zach. Coach Zach, let me come in. I was doing my trainings. I think. I wasn't doing any training, but I was, running practices and stuff. Like Tuesdays and Thursdays, or like 2-3 days a week, something like that. So you got to imagine for 9 months. I'm working out from 7:30 a.m. to like 1 p.m. I'm doing skills training, or I'm trading, or I'm learning about. I'm either doing skills training for kids, or I'm learning about trading, like studying, or I'm doing deliveries. I'm doing that from like 1 to 2 p.m. to like 4 or 5, maybe. Go home, eat, maybe, or I'll stay up there at the church. And then I would have afternoon practice with Texas Dynasty from about 5 to 6, maybe 7:30, 8. That was my time for. That was my schedule for 9 months, and I loved every bit of it. And some days some days I wouldn't eat. My family ate. My wife, my kids ate. But some days I wouldn't eat just because I would be so tired, and because, some days I couldn't afford for all of us to eat. Real talk. I know I was never gonna let my fam not eat. They ate, but I really had to bite that. Like, nah, I'm not gonna eat tonight. So some nights I would just fast and just drink water, and it let me get closer to Yahuwah spiritually. It molded me up. It disciplined me up. Because now during that whole time, my diet is changing. From La Banda all the way to Mexico, like my diet is slowly changing, because I'm realizing, like, if I'm going to keep up and stay in this game, I can't be eating the things that I was eating in college. I can't be filling myself up with, natural flavored things and, artificial flavored things and all these lab tested stuff, man. And again, this is, something that me and my guests will talk about later down the line. But, I'm here to tell you my story, man. And so, I got in real good shape. And I said, I'm going to kill everything. Respectfully, I'm going to kill everything in front of me. And during those 9 months, like I said, I'm doing all these things, but, Yahuwah works in wondrous ways, because, again, just like I told you when I was talking about my first year in Finland, after a while, things get stagnant. And it's not that it should be, but you feel like, okay, this is my 3rd, 4th month. Still no job. This is my 5th month. Still nothing, Benji. Like nothing. Like nada. I can't get nothing. And so, and the reason why, I felt like I wasn't getting anything was because I needed to be broken down to be built back up. And so, it was an opportunity that time, that church, and those 9 months was another real golden opportunity for me to be a better person, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And it did. Like I said, I got baptized. I ended up being in the best weight of my life. Not condition now. I was in the best weight. But I ended up getting these little blessings along the way, because while I was going up at the church, there were guys up there, JD, Isaiah Austin, shout out to those guys. They Justin Denman, JD. They were doing the big 3 and with Ice Cube and stuff, and so there was a tryout. Like, yo, if you want to pay like, $100, if you pay like $100 to come try out or something like that, or I think it was free. I don't know. I think I just had to get a physical or something. Well, They were hosting it in Dallas, and man, I was hungry to a T. I ain't whooped nobody's butt in a while, except for in the open gym, the run. Shout out to the run. Um, yeah, like I was hungry to do that, so I violated that, and I remember I scored like 4 or 5 times in a row on like this one-on-one drill. But anyways, I ended up getting invited to go to Vegas in July to try out there, and I feel like I did my thing too. But that's just me being me. I know I did my thing. Well, they had already picked. They had already picked their the players that they wanted, so it was cool, But what I'm trying to say is like, you know, Yahuwah kept me going somehow, some way, whether it be inspiration through one of my children that I've been training, my guy Willie. I love you, Willie. Um, and other ones too, whether it be through training, whether it be through the big three, whether it be through just any little motivation. Like he kept that hunger going, and so fast track going into August. I end up getting an offer to go to Israel. Now, Israel has always been on the radar for like what I think like the previous 2 years. This is my 8th year now. We almost home. I'm gonna bring it together. This is my 8th year now, and so we get the offer in Israel, and me and my family going like it's cool. It was a great time. It was a great time. Learn different culture. Learn the Jewish culture. I had great teammates. We were a real good team. Israeli basketball, it was only 2 Americans rather than Mexico. It was about 11 of us. I'm not gonna share how that went down, but whatever. It's just a total different transition, total different game of basketball, right? Being in going from Mexico to Israel. Well, I mean, you gotta understand, I haven't played in 9 months either, so I don't care. I'm super hungry. I even took a pay cut for it, and because I bet it on myself. I just knew that something good would come out of it. I just needed to get back out there. So Ashkelon, put me on. It was a great season. We started off pretty solid. I think we started off another great start, man. I think we started off maybe like 8-0 or 6-0, 8, 6, 7, maybe 8-0. Well, we ended up losing like our first one, and then we ended up losing like the next 4 or something like that. And so we got back into the middle rankings. Unfortunately, my first coach ended up getting fired, and so ended up getting a new one, and he ended up bringing in a mental training coach, Oded. Shout out to Oded, which helped me a lot. And so, but that was a special season because it was my first year. After basically 18 months off. Because again, Chihuahua Leagues is only 4-month season, so I didn't have a job after that. So it was really good. I was going super hard. I averaged about 18 and 7, maybe 18 and 8. Still solid numbers. But unfortunately, during mid-season, sometime it was around December 31st, right around the New Year. I ended up getting hurt. Man. I got whiplash in my neck. A guy came and hit me, and my neck jerked back, and so now I've been diagnosed with oh man, gotta fix my neck now. I got diagnosed with herniated discs. I got 3 herniated discs in my C4, 5, and 6. The crazy thing about that one is I had no mobility in my right shoulder, and I still kind of don't. Like, it's good. Like, it's probably about like 80% now. But like there's some moments where like a teammate is trying to like throw a ball and I can't react the fastest, or I'm not that strong in that area to kind of like grab it at its peak. So it's affected me in a lot of different ways. And so yeah, I couldn't really necessarily feel my shoulders or my arm. And I mean, I was out for like 2 months, and thankfully, I did such a great job, and I was a good person that that team kept me. That kept me on, and it was I was truly grateful for them to do that, because finally I had got a break of not. I had the injury, right, but shoot, they kept me on, and I stayed, and I still got paid, and so ended up coming back towards the end of the season, like 5 games left towards the end of the season. Ended up we won those, and then we had a playoff run. We had a great playoff run. Won first round. I think best of 5. I think it was best. Yeah. So we won 3 games. First round, second round. The second round was basically the finals because of how it was set up. 2 semifinal teams, right? Both teams that went to the championship round, both teams were going to go to the top league. So, like, this is what matters. This was basically the finals, and so went to game 5, lost. It was best of 5. Went to game 5, ended up losing on the road, and so it was bittersweet again, coming up short. Came up short, and I mean, it happens. It's a part of the season. I'll be right there, like what I have 2 championships, and then what I knew we was gonna get one in Turkey. There was nobody gonna beat us in Turkey, but lost that one, and then Israel. So honestly, I could have had 4, and 4 out of 8 is a lot better than 2. The 2 out of 8. Excuse me, but yeah, we ended up. My wife ended up giving birth to our third baby. Her name is Talia. That's my sweet baby. Shout out to Talia. Shout out to the boys too. It's all equal. But she gave a home birth, and it was amazing, super amazing. And so now trying to leave. Leaving Israel was a little bit of a hassle because come to find out, the club did not get my wife the proper visa that she needed to stay the whole time. Fortunately, she was okay leaving. She was okay leaving the country. We all left. They didn't even bother her. But it was a hassle because we had to be out of the apartment by a certain amount of weeks, and we had to give my daughter her passport. Now she was born 2 months before we had to leave or something like that. So we didn't really have a lot of time, because this is like peak playoff moment. So I'm not like, I'm focused, like I'm thinking, all right, maybe we can do it, and afterwards just get an emergency one. Well, we ended up getting an emergency one, but the hassle was just so crazy that, we had to drive. I had to drive every day for 3 days from Ashkelon to Jerusalem, which was about a 2-hour drive. And we had to do that for 2 days or no, 3 days. We had to go 2 days to try to talk to an agent. On that 3rd day, we had to pick up the passport. But that 2nd day, it was like do or die, because if we would have not been able to get that passport and stuff, we would have been kicked out of our apartment. They would have had to they would have wanted us to pay for the apartment and stuff like that, and we're not doing that. So we made it real urgent for them to give us our daughter's passport so we can fly home. We ended up flying home, stayed in Kansas City that summer, and now I am here on my 9th season. back in Dorados, playing for a team that we're in the middle in the standings right now. We got this cup coming up. Looking forward to winning that. I have good expectations going into it. Going into the cup, obviously, we're mid-season form already, so the plan is to win. Well, yeah, man. So that's really that's what's happened. Like my 9 years, I hope that you can understand the perseverance. I hope you can understand the faith that you need, the perseverance that you need to stay in it, because it's not easy. I kind of, there's only so much that you can say to kind of make you understand where I was at in like those moments of disparity. I was desperate for something, like, again, being soulless. I was desperate for guidance, not making a lot of money coming out. No, I made money coming out going into my freshman year, but not managing it, and on top of that, having families. Like I'm craving, stability, like a stable job, but also, wanting, like, hooping, because it can be done, it is done. People do it all the time, but you got to look at it from like an entrepreneurial perspective, because not everything's gonna be sweet coming out. Like, everybody goes through their things, right? Like, my story is no different. It's gonna be no different than somebody else's story. Like, the only thing that probably changes is, obviously the setting, the characters, things like that. But everybody goes through it, and so you got to be able to adapt and be like a chameleon in a way, to like blend in but also stand out by being confident in this. Because again, man, this overseas basketball is not for the weak. I don't know how many. I've seen a lot of people quit. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of people fold. I've seen a lot of people give up. That's no knock to them. They are who they are, and that's what happened. I'm thankful for the help that I've had to help me do this, and I'm also thankful for the no's too. I'm also thankful for the times people told me no. So, because that also helps too, But overall, this journey is bittersweet. It's bittersweet, and I enjoy it. I love it. But I've also seen that other side of, of having that picket fence in that home. I'm not saying you can't get a home being overseas, but for me, it's like, why would I? At this point, we're traveling, But I've seen the other side of having that picket home, that dog, that nice yard, being able to do stuff on the weekends, like being able to, see your family when you want to, celebrate, those pagan holidays and doing things like that. But man, I see the other side, and it looks cool. Like, I know overall I love coaching. I love being around kids. That's what I figured out, during those times of me being quote unquote down, of me, not having a solid job or anything. during those times, like, I figured out, those times are real special because I know what I want to do, and it's a blessing because those moments really can, mold you and grow you into who you want to be. Or you could, take the easy route, but I always prefer to take the harder route a little bit in certain situations because, that's just how I was raised. I mean, this overseas life, like I said, it isn't easy. You have to work for every bit of what you earn. And so, like, I look at these notes and I think, and it's just like, you know, all the injuries and all the moments of not getting your compensation. Like, I know those moments are extremely tough, and those are inexcusable moments to, like, stop hooping, but and above all, having a family during all this time, like, I'm not here to say whether my decision was smart or not. It don't matter. That was Yah's timing. So, anybody could say, like, oh, well, you shouldn't do that. Well, whatever. Nobody stopped you from having your family, or nobody, so I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm just saying, like, I'd say overall, just stick through it, stick with it. If you really want it, don't expect, handouts, don't expect favors. Understand that this is a business overall. You got to find pleasure in this business. You got to stay humble. You got to stay grateful. You got to be professional in a lot of ways. People that I'm going to interview, these guys have been professionals in their own way, and you're going to be able to hear their stories and hear everything go on. And obviously for me, I may break some things down for me and my perspective on certain things that we talk about, but with my guests. But overall, man, this story, is for y'all to understand where I'm coming from, the things that I've had to go through, depression, anxiety, being super up and being super down. Like, it's you got to find that balance in life. And honestly, I didn't find that balance until I found my faith in Yahusha and in the Most High Yahuwah, man. And without them, I don't think I would be able to be here, because I've seen, like I said, I've seen a lot of situations where people fold. I've seen a lot of situations where people give up, and that's just straight up what it is. And it's just you gave up. There are a lot of different unfortunate circumstances out there for people. I'm not talking about season or career-ending injury. I'm not talking about things like that. But people know, who was willing to stick it out and who made the decision not to. And again, there's no knock on anything, because like sometimes I wish, like, I was on that other side. I wish that, I had a little bit more stability, because again, this is not stable. At any moment, anything could happen. And so, yeah, man, I hope that you understand where I come from. I hope you understand everything that I've been through. From coaches to play styles to countries to different flavors of food, lifestyle, this, that, language barriers, racism. It's a lot. And so I could be here all day, man, but I'm gonna go ahead and just sign off. We already running about 2 hours, man. I know that's a lot. That's a lot of me talking. My head hurts now, but I hope that y'all take what y'all can out of this, and tune into the next episode. We'll have our first guest coming up, and yeah, have a good one. Signing off. Peace.